Hey guys, how's it going? It is March the 7th, 2019. So, I've just got a little bit of time before the end of the night and I didn't feel like cleaning up, so figured I'd do a live stream real quick. Um, so, what's basically happening now, um, other than my life kind of being a little bit up in the air as far as with my son and everything. Um, I've got some time just right now. March break's coming up. I got a couple vacation days coming up. But I did have a discussion with my son regarding something that we could potentially do together, and that is possibly, without getting anybody's hopes up, um, program RTS 2. And I know I've been on and again and off again about this, but I posted another message in the forum, a reply to my original message about it looked like it was the end of the line until, because I was just, basically what had happened was, and this is, like I said, Scott and I, he's not taking offense to anything I'm sorry, he's not taking offense to anything I've said, and I'm not taking offense to anything he's saying. He's been my one and only ally, I would say, other than, closest ally, I would say, that where we understand each other. But what was happening is I can't host, nor will I be able to host a session or server in the foreseeable future because of my internet issues at the new location. So what that left me doing is basically trying to get together with Scott. But what happens is if the IP address changes or he's not there or something comes up, if I have all that, basically the way I plan my life or plan my nights and everything, I plan day by day, night by night, etc. And if I have those plans intact, what often happens is if they don't go through or something comes up, it's different than a server. I think I've mentioned this before. So I was at that point, I was just like, I don't know what else I'm going to do because I'm sure don't feel like doing it in single player. Well, the weather's been getting better, and of course when the weather gets better, my mood gets better. Now I haven't been able to take advantage of the weather, but what happens is because my mood's changing and I've had a pretty good week and at work and everything, suddenly you start getting optimistic about things. Everything's not a drag, everything's not stressful as it is, even though I am going through a lot of stress with my son and everything, but with his physical issues at the moment. But what that did was that made me start thinking again, what can I do? It's always about what can you do, not what can't you do. And that's something that I've been reinforcing with my son, actually, to be quite honest, because he's he's a very positive person, but he's also very worried and basically in traumatic shock, sort of, because he's so used to not being able to do what he used to be able to do, and he has to fight through it. So I'm trying to reinforce with him, he has to figure out what he can do, not what he can't do. And he can fight through this. He's stronger than he thinks he is, and so am I. So it's kind of funny that way, how that works. But I certainly want him, at least him and I can use each other, because he is interested in programming. I convinced him tonight that maybe if we were to finish the programming for RTS and get it at least compatible, that's the goal. Get RTS compatible with version 2. Don't worry about the extra cars, don't worry about the extra stuff, just get it compatible so it works with the XMLs. That is not a hard task. In fact, I probably could have spent the amount of time I spent the other night, and we probably could have done it. And I said, once we get that, then we can look at what he's looking at. And actually, Scott has mentioned this too. He's interested in this, and this is to start looking at the financial side of the railroads. You can't have a full tycoon out of a simulator, but what you can do, and he didn't quite understand how it would work, because he said, well, how's the program going to work like a tycoon when it's a simulator? And I said, well, it's still going to be a simulator, but you're going to have the financial functions, because if I can add the financial functions and be able to measure how much costs are involved in labor, and how much revenue is gathered for each carload. Certain carloads more lucrative than others, certain industries, running costs versus the fees. Will industries, as far as supply and demand, will they ship more by rail, or will they go to truck? Kind of in that sense. That's the kind of the frame of mind I'm looking at. So if you're a railroad, you on one side, you want to make it more lucrative, so you're competitive with you're more competitive with trucks. But at the same time, sometimes you have to let go of certain industries, or only serve it so many times a week, and just not provide service if necessary, if it means taking too much of a hit or a loss. And a lot of railroads do that in real life. Of course, I don't want it to become realistic where people start tearing up lines. Of course, we're not going to be tearing up lines, but when it comes to industries, I thought about that, and I thought, well, maybe I can put those things into place. Scott's got a lot of ideas that he can probably supply me in that, and plus it'll give something. Perhaps maybe Scott would be interested a little bit more with single player if the tools were available to him, and more challenging aspects. I don't know exactly, but it's something I thought about doing at least. It'll keep me going for a little bit longer. Then we'll see where version 3 is. Ultimately, version 3 is going to be the decider, because if version 3 isn't, if version 3 is not that much of an improvement to version 2, then I have to ask myself, is it really worth it anymore? And unfortunately, then that'll be a decision I have to make at that point. But until then, we still really don't know. I've heard some good things. I've heard some good ideas. I've heard a lot of different things. I've heard a lot of different things about a lot of different things. So it's just one of those things. So anyways, I said I was going to be short. It's short, as I said. I'm going to end that here, but I thought I'd just explain that. And as even Scott was saying, it sounds like my heart's not in this anymore, and he might be right. I'm not too sure, but the problem is trying to find that replacement. I mean, yeah, I got these games, but I play games with my son all the time right now, and really, I think I need to get outdoors more. Hopefully that'll happen soon, but we'll see. Good weather's coming. It's just unfortunately my son's not capable of going too many places at the moment, so hopefully that improves sooner rather than later, so we'll see what happens. But anyways, I'm going to end that there, and thought I'd share that for you just to let you know that I'm still alive, and hopefully we'll have some more updates. Just keep a watch on the wiki. I'll post more information as it becomes available, and if I have any more updates, I'll let you know. Okay guys, have a good one. We'll talk to you later.